God told me to ask you today, have you forgotten what you were made of? A lot of times, when life hits us, what I'm saying, we forget what we're made of. I'm like, what do you mean? God said you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's Psalms 139 and 14. If you read Romans, chapter 8, it says, I think verse 31, if God be for you, who could be against you? I think verse 37, it says, we are more than conquerors. God said in his word that he knew you before you was in your mother's womb. You have to understand that, when God, allowed us to come on this earth, he chose our mother and father. And he knew that. He knew that, that the specific genes that were going to come from our mother and our father was going to give us everything that we needed to be able to make it on this earth. And you may be saying, well, with Loki, well, look at, well, my father was like this, my mother was never there, or whatever like that. That doesn't matter. God already knew that. God pre-designed or predestined, your mother and your father. So regardless of, how they are, how they treated you, you still can make it. It says that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. It's Philippians. What we have to understand is, and there are a lot of parents that, that treat their children well, and what we have to understand is sometimes God wants to break that generational curse, that, with us that, our parents don't do what they did or anything like that. So that when we have our children, we can do it differently, so that's another topic another day, but did you forget what you are made of? Sometimes you got to get up and you got to press, even when it don't feel so good. Sometimes you got to get up and you got to go to work. Sometimes you got to get up and you got to do what you do, and thinking people like, oh, well, you go into this job and, God said, whatever you do, work as if you're working for God and not for man, because that's where promotion comes. He says it does not come from the east or the west. It does not come from the south. It comes from God. So you just got to look at, God fearfully and wonderfully made you to be able to handle, that's why it says all things work together for good. And that's Romans 8:28. And like God said in his plans, Jeremiah 29:11, God said, for the plans I have for you, plans to not to harm you, but to give you a future and a hope. A lot of times you got to look at yourself and look in the mirror and just tell yourself, we can, we can do this. Because it says with man it's impossible. With God, all things are possible. And just like, David encouraged himself, 1 Samuel 6, David had to encourage himself in the Lord. And so today, you got to encourage yourself in the Lord, because you are more than a conqueror. Love y'all. God bless.